and my co-host, who's always changing his pickups in his guitars, Danny Beardsley. Dude.
Yo, dude.
How you doing?
Yeah, good, thank you, mate. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. I hope you don't mind me mentioning your weird little thing about changing your pickups, because every time I see you, you've gone, oh, I've swapped my pickups out on this one and put these ones in instead.
Yeah, I'm always changing my mind. It's just like tones for me change all the time. It's just like when you have a meal, you don't always fancy having beans on toast. Well, I probably do actually, so I love beans on toast. But
but not spaghetti hoops on toast.
Oh God, no.
They're too slimy.
It's just too slimy. Yeah.
So you're kind of
they
comparing...
they're the microphone below the string, aren't they? A pickup.
Yes.
That's what they act as. And sometimes I don't know if it's just my ear gets a little bit fatigued to certain frequencies or whatever. Plus, what I've noticed is the same pickup sounds different in a different guitar.
Wow.
Because it picks up different nuances.
Pickups.
There you go.
Bare knuckle?
Bare knuckle, of course.
Are they all bare knuckle? Does every one of your guitars contain bare knuckles?
Pretty much bare knuckle. Pretty much all of them. I end up having to put the stock PRS ones back in the hollow body because I think the bare knuckles have wound the opposite direction. Oh. So... this is a bit of tech talk here. So when I put the
sorry, listeners, I'm bored already. I don't know about you lot. I am just a bass player, though.
We have got a supreme guitar guest on, so it's fitting.
It is.
When I put the piezo system on, the hollow body, the blend, it doesn't seem to work properly with any bare knuckle. So I
they're
don't
probably
know what
specifically designed for the hollow body, aren't they? By PRS, so maybe.
Yeah, I mean they're kind of great sounding. They've got that Incubus tone.
That's lovely. That's my favourite. That's my favourite of your guitars. So, dude, what have you been up to?
I have been up to quite a bit, actually. It's been quite busy recently. But one of the things that stands out for me is going to Go Ape at Sherwood Pines.
Oh, you love Go Ape, don't you?
Oh, I do love it, mate.
Did you go ape?
Yes. Proper
swinging through the trees?
Gibbon style.
Gibbon style.
Oh, God.
What was that? Your wedding ring dropping off?
It's my spare wedding ring.
What are you faffing about with that for?
It's the one that I lost years ago and then discovered
it again.
Discovered it in a toy box.
Classic.
Yeah. Yeah, it was brilliant. It was brilliant, mate. And then this time, because I think the last time I went down, going down the zip line, I couldn't time it right, and I just planted my back into the ground. And it was very, very painful.
Did you do a better job this time then? Or did you plant it yourself this time?
No. So you get 2 attempts at going down the zip line. I highly recommend it. I mean, I was hoping you'd come this time, but I think you were busy, weren't you?
I was probably busy.
But I managed to land on my feet this time.
Boom.
Must look like Spider-Man.
In your head you did.
In my head.
In reality... you look like a almost 40-year-old bloke surviving a zip line. That's the only way I imagine spectators would have put it.
Tobey Maguired it.
He did not.
Tobey Maguire in Spider-Man, not Seabiscuit.
Thanks for the clarification.
Dude, what have you been up to?
Well, I went to that gig in Manchester. I think I spoke about it previously.
Oh, yes, we did talk about that in a previous episode.
That was really good.
How was the trip? How was the chat GPT...
itinerary. So I used an entirely ChatGPT based itinerary, including where to stay, my transport routes in and out of Manchester, the restaurants I went to, the breakfast and all that kind of stuff. Even a little walk I went on was designed by AI. It was had a really lovely day.
You say a little walk, it was about 12 miles.
I think it was like 10 miles I walked. And I've got a bad ankle, so that killed me in the end. But yeah, it was lovely, really good. The gig was great as well. In fact, I say great. The first 2 bands were awful. Sorry, whoever you were. I can't remember who they were now. And the band I went to see Thursday I thought were great. You don't like them, but I really enjoyed them. And then I watched, 2 songs from the headliners?
Was that Gold?
No.
What were they called?
What were the headliners called? You get close. No, not Gold, something Silverstein.
Silverstein, okay.
And I only kind of knew 1 or 2 songs of theirs anyway. But I watched 2 songs and left. It wasn't awful. It wasn't awful or anything, but it just wasn't for me. So
bit of a mixed bag though, because you showed me clips of each band that played, and it was very varied, wasn't it? Which is kind of cool. It's a bit like a pick and mix, really, of bands.
Very good, Danny. It was. But yeah, I'm glad I seen Thursday anyway, because that's who I wanted to go see. So, but I had a great time. Thank you.
How was the bass player? Did he deliver?
Very good. It was the bass player from Lost Prophets that plays.
I remember you telling me
for them. Yeah. So he wasn't really known for bass and Lost Prophets, I suppose, but he's solid.
Good sound?
Just say solid. Yeah, good sound, yeah.
I'm not a fan of the vocals, if I'm honest. It's the thing that I don't... But I like the music. But what I was impressed with was the singer himself seems like a decent human being.
He's a very good human being. So, dude, what have you been listening to?
I have been listening to Jimmy Eat World.
Oh, that's an unexpected classic.
Yes, I loved listening to Jimmy Eat World growing up. I mean, obviously, there's the Bleed American album, which is a classic, but
absolute classic.
But I like the album Futures.
Yes, I've not listened to that one as much, but yeah, it's got some bangers on it, hasn't it?
Yeah, Just Tonight, Work, Kill, Pain, Polaris, 23. Oh, there's too many. And then actually, the version that I listened to, it's the deluxe edition. Deluxe edition from 2004, and it's got like loads of demo versions and remastered versions, live tracks.
Oh, you love that
stuff.
kind of stuff, don't
I
you?
love it. I love all the bonus stuff. Yeah, that's amongst a plethora of music I've been listening to. That's the thing that stands out to me.
You know what? There's been so much music released, dude. I mean, I think just before this episode, we've just been talking about the new Stephen Wilson album.
What have you been listening to? Let me ask you.
What have I been listening to?
Yes.
Well, Coheed's got a new album out.
Because that's I knew you were going there.
But
so.
I don't really want to talk about it yet because I've only listened to it twice.
Okay.
And I feel like I need to digest it a little bit more before talking about it. But my first impression is pretty average, I think, to be honest.
What you've shown me, first impression, plus the singles they put out, it pales in comparison to what I know and love from
Pales
Coheed.
in comparison to Good Apollo.
Yes.
But we'll see. I don't want to pass judgment entirely just yet because it needs a few more listens. But I've been listening to a post-metal band called Kowloon Walled City.
Okay.
Which are very ISIS-like. I don't know if I showed you.
This is the band you told me about. Yeah.
Their albums, Grievances and Container Ships.
This is the band that you showed me, and the music I thoroughly enjoyed, but the vocal kicked in. It was
the vocals, I'm still
warming.
I'm still stuck at the vocals at the minute.
Okay.
Can't fully enjoy the songs, but the music is brilliant. The bass sounds, it's clunky and horrible, which is great in terms of bass.
I'll make a note of that album that
we'll stick some on. We'll stick some on after we've done this.
Yeah, okay.
And then Sleep Token's got a new song out as well, which I really like so far. But I know you don't like them, so.
No, I do like Sleep Token, but this one's
I thought you hated Sleep Token.
No, that was Martin.
Oh,
hi Martin. After listening to that track, I kind of agree with Martin on that track.
Oh
that
my
it's
God,
a bit overproduced.
Go agree with Martin.
I do. I think it's it sounds a bit AI'd and it's got no life. It's got no soul in that track for me personally. It sounds too.
You need to listen to the lyrics.
Digitised.
We agreed to disagree on that one then.
Yeah.
And we've been sent some music to listen to, Danny.
In fact,
we've been sent quite a bit of music to listen to, but we've done a terrible job of actually talking about it, haven't we?
We're going to start and introduce this into the podcast.
Because we get sent loads of stuff all the time, and we have kind of just been ignoring it. Sorry for anyone that's got in touch with us and asked us to give them a bit of a shout out on the pod, but...
In our defence, life has been relentless just recently, hasn't it? The amount of work that goes into these podcasts is immense. But we are going to start and introduce a sectoid, maybe even create a sample. Maybe. Give us some ideas. What you want to hear.
What kind of sample would you like to hear on this?
But Dan, let's tell us about this band.
So we've been sent it's kind of like a hardcore-ish, punkish band called Dude Smell.
Yeah, very aggressive sounding, wasn't it?
Very aggressive, and the song they sent us to listen to was, the most recent one. I think they've sent us a couple in the past. Hyenas in the Pride Land.
Cool name.
Very cool. I mean, I quite like the band name as well. Dude Smell.
Dude Smell. I wonder what
it's going to stink. Stink. It's horrible. You know, when you're at a gig and you're stood behind the biggest guy that's got about 4 jackets on, and you know, like when it's really sunny and you can see that shimmer on the road, where like
that's Dude Smell.
You can see the shimmer off some of these guys at gigs, can't you? That's to me. Yeah, but that's Dude Smell.
I think, in their defence, I think they've kind of committed themselves to wearing this kind of attire in that venue. They've got in there, and then they've gone past the point of like being able to take off any clothing without releasing more dude smell.
No, dude.
So they're like,
these people.
I need to keep myself covered up here.
These people we're talking about go to lots of gigs. They know. Okay. Anyway, back to the band. Rather than talking about the process of Dude Smell. What did you think?
Well, at first, I thought it was the Beastie Boys.
Oh.
It had like that kind of vibe going on, like a more aggressive Beastie Boys. So if you're into that kind of thing, be sure to check them out on their socials via Dude Smell.
Just search for Dude Smell.
On all streaming platforms and Instagram.
Indeed. And if you've got anything you'd like us to listen to, send it in. We'll have a little listen, won't we, Danny? We're open to anything, we are.
Indeed. Send it through to the Pick and Licks email.
Well, yeah, or give us a message on Instagram. Who uses email anymore, Danny? Some people do, I suppose, but...
I like email. It's more formal.
Do you still send letters? Do you write formal letters now and again?
No, I don't. No, but now you put that idea in my head.
Oh, you know what we've not spoken about for a while? I'm going to put you on the spot here. How's your concept album going?
Oh, God. You know what, dude? I was thinking about that the other day. So it's still on the radar. It's just on the back burner at the moment.
Okay.
But it's like lingering there, like, I want to do this.
Have you got any musical ideas for it yet?
I've got a few that are kind of in... I think I might have sent one to you to listen to. But the idea is that it's going to be layered. So I don't normally go down that route with music.
Full layer it.
Yeah, you know, like the Coheed thing with like extra vocals and all that sort of stuff. I mean, I'm heavily influenced by Deer Hunter at the moment. Heavily. And to be able to like pursue something in that kind of vein would be very rewarding. But I mean, it'd be challenging as well because I haven't got his voice at all.
You got your own voice, though, dude. That's something you need to play to your strengths, don't you?
That's the nicest thing you've said.
You've got a nice voice.
I'm waiting for
Your face while singing, though, is horrific.
It is horrific. Dude.
Just reminding you of that.
Dude, I've been doing like, I'm calling them Totally Radical Studios live sessions. Something like that.
Yes.
So
yes.
I'm almost finished with it.
Releasing soon.
Which I'll show you some mixes after this. I don't really know what to do with them, but it'd be good to get you here on it. But watching the videos back, like, oh my God. I keep thinking of Jim Carrey. Like, you know how Jim Carrey can mould his face?
Yeah. You know what I think you look like?
Go.
You know those animals that dislocate their jaws to kind of swallow their prey whole? Like that.
That seems... Yeah.
Like a I don't know, like a monitor lizard or something like that, or a Komodo dragon, those kind of creatures.
What's that massive beast of a snake? What's that?
Oh, like an anaconda.
Anaconda, they do it, don't they?
Yeah, yeah. So that's kind of what you remind me of. Look like you're ready to devour your prey.
Danaconda.
There we go. There's the hit. You've also, Danny, we need to talk about this as well. It's probably out. It will be out by the time this podcast goes out. But your collaboration with Richard Shaw.
Oh yeah,
the Beardsley / Shaw combo.
Yep.
Is that what it's called? Is that the official name of the group?
Yeah, it's a shame we couldn't come up with something more catchy.
Beardsley / Shaw combo. There you go. What's the song called?
The new song is called Eye of the Storm, and it's out on the 28th of March.
It's probably been out a while by now.
It would have been out by now, but
you might have missed it. So
you might have missed it.
We've got a little listen.
Dave and Ben on the rhythm section from the Parallax Method and the DB Trio. Yeah, just focused on vocals more than anything, and then lots of mixing and mastering. Hopefully, people enjoy that. Yeah. I mean, you were practically a co-producer on this one.
I think I was an executive producer on this song. So if you don't like the mix, I tried. Okay. I did really try hard to steer it in the correct direction.
Some of the messages back were like, oh, yeah, he's got a good point there. Back to the drawing board.
I've listened to this song more than any song this year.
Well, T-Chat.
T-Chat with Danny and Dan.
Oh, what we got? I've not even sniffed it yet, Danny. Oh, it's lemon and ginger. I can smell it.
It's just, yeah, we can be quick and...
Oh, it's nice. We've just been actually looking at teapots to enhance our T-Chat episodes, really.
You're going to order one, aren't you, from Bird and
Brew.
Bird and Brew.
So there's one in Nottingham, but the card machine was down the other day, so I couldn't purchase anything.
Oh.
But they've got a wonderful Mandarin, I think it was, teapot.
For loose tea. Yeah.
For loose tea. We're going to upgrade, aren't we?
Yeah.
Rather than the tea bag. And the tea bag's quite limited, isn't it, in what it can do?
Well, we could talk about the...
I guess dreaming of the band with a coffee in the hand, caffeine wonderland.
The coffee we had earlier on.
Yes, let's do that as well, because that is a lovely coffee. What is it, Danny?
It's Lavazza.
Is that how you say it?
It's how I'm saying it.
Do you want to say it again?
Lavazza.
Nice accent there. Well done.
Is it Rossa?
Qualità Rossa. I don't know.
Intensity 5 out of 10. Dude, this is one of the finest coffees I've had recently at home. And it's in bean form, so I've been using that coffee grinder that you got me.
Perfect.
Thanks, dude.
Anytime, dude.
I love making coffee now. It's like, I love the process.
The coffee making process.
Yeah, the coffee making process.
It's a nice flow to it, isn't there, almost?
Yes.
Prepping your beans.
It's rewarding, isn't it?
Grinding your beans.
But
frothing your milk with that, I don't know what that wank little frother thing you've got is, but it had no impact at all on the texture of the milk.
That was poor.
That needs upgraded.
I use that for making babuchinos. But, I don't know, you spend 15, 20 minutes making a coffee and it takes you 3 minutes to drink it.
That's the problem, but it's still, the process is,
It's rewarding.
It's mindful, isn't it? It's a mindful process.
And the taste is more enjoyable.
There you go.
It's a deep, what do you say? It's a full-bodied flavour.
There you go, you've heard it here first. Coffee provides a full-bodied flavour.
From bean to cup.
Bloody hell. Right, we're rambling on, Danny. Have we missed anything, or can we crack on with this pod, at least?
We can crack on with this pod. This guest is great.
Oh, he's a good lad, wasn't he?
Yes.
I enjoyed meeting him. Not going to reveal him.
Should we just crack on?
Let's crack on. Enjoy.
Boom. Ahoy.
Hello.
Hey, dude.
Long time no speak.
Yeah, man. How you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks. Sam, this is Dan.
Nice to meet you, Sam.
Been a dear friend of mine for a very long time. We've been in bands together.
We are.
Nice to meet you, Dan.
Dan, Sam,
Nice to meet you, Sam.
guitar wizard.
Oh, I know. I was listening to some Mask of Judas earlier. Crazy stuff. Love it.
Oh, thank you. So we've got two Dans, Danny and Danny.
Yeah, Dan. We call him Dan. Shall we introduce our guest?
We probably
to the
should
listeners?
introduce, I guess, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
So who have we got on this podcast this week, Danny? Who is it?
We've got the amazing guitar virtuoso, Sam Bell.
Welcome, Sam Bell. How you doing?
Hello. It's an absolute pleasure to be here and pleasure to be part of this Pick and Licks podcast. I'm excited.
Thanks for
Thank
getting
you.
involved, dude. We're super excited to hear your choices for your dream band.
Was it hard to make these choices, Sam?
It's a tricky one because I'm a big fan of music. I'm a musician myself, and there's so many amazing people. When the parameters that you've given are quite challenging, actually. And it also made me realise how out of touch I am. Maybe that's an age thing.
Yeah, I feel that sometimes.
I got some choices.
Brill.
Well, that is a good start.
It's a
at
great
least.
start, isn't it?
Sam, do you want to introduce yourself to the listeners? Because we want to give you the opportunity to spread the word about your skills, your talent, and everything you've done up to this point, really.
I'm a guitar player from the south of England. I've been playing a long time, and I've got a band called Mask of Judas, which that's how we know each other, from sharing stages. It's a progressive metal band. I play a lot of 8-string guitar. I'm in there with my partner, Jo, who's the singer. She does a lot of the screaming stuff as well, a heavy style. We have an album called The Mesmerist. You can hear it on Spotify. And I also write my own music. I sort of write synth-wavy, progressive-y stuff. I haven't done that in a while. And on the side of that, my livelihood is a professional musician. So I teach at licklibrary.com. I review guitars for Guitar Interactive magazine. I get asked to do demos for different companies like Boss Pedals, Ibanez, Laney, Focusrite. I just recently done something for Thomas McLaughlin, his Polychrome company.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, bits and pieces. I'm just a freelancer in the guitar world. I love playing guitar. And I'm learning every day. It's just great. I love it. I love performing and I love writing music. And I also love, I say I'm a teacher. I'd rather say I share guitar and music with people because I'm a student myself.
Always learning.
What a humble guy. If the listeners have not heard of this guy play guitar, it's you're in for a shock. His,
incredible.
Skill set's great. I remember stumbling across your YouTube channel years ago, Sam. As guitar players, we go through that phase, don't we? If you start to go down the technique route and try and develop all these kind of advanced approaches at approaching guitar, I studied quite a few of your videos.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
On like different string skipping and tapping and all that sort of stuff. Some of your videos were very helpful developing some of my lead techniques. So thank you for sharing them, mate.
It's surreal to hear that because I see you're playing, Danny, and you've got the whole package going on. You've got the technique, you've got the musicality, the songwriting, and it's tight and clean. And I guess it's one of these tricky things that when you look at our own playing, we get to see all the warts and all, and we live with it daily, and it's difficult sometimes. But I'm honoured, Danny. I admire your playing greatly. Huge respect for what you do.
Well, thanks, dude. That's very kind.
I
genuinely mean it from the heart. You've unlocked a lot of things that I was working on at the time. I mean, I'm how old am I now? I'm 37 now. So I'm of that era that a lot of my formative years was kind of working things out by ear. You know, working out that way. I had some lessons along the way with some cool teachers. But when it came to really pushing technique and learning new like theory and you know, scales and chord structures and things like that, YouTube was a very big help. As you know, trying to hunt through YouTube for a reliable kind of consistent coach, teacher, sharer, as you said earlier. Once you stumble across someone who can clearly do it themselves and doesn't like talk the talk and they can walk the walk as well, you kind of stick with it and pick up things from them. And you were one of those guitar players for me. So thank you.
Oh, wow.
And then years later, we kind of crossed paths, and it was like, oh my God, I'm going to be sharing a stage with Sam Bell. I can't believe it. The weird thing is that once you get to know each other, a lot of passionate musicians who have gone that, should we say, gone that extra mile and been antisocial in a way, locking ourselves in our rooms practicing for hours on end, you've got like this mutual respect for each other. You've got that understanding of what drives that passion.
Oh, that's awesome. Did you meet at TechFest? Was it a TechFest thing or?
I think it might have been, Sam. Can you remember?
I've got references to something called ASFest, which is our friend Aaron.
Ah, of course.
Who has and I remember sharing some stuff. TechFest, of course, but I just remember I was sort of being on different lineups all over the place. Really, it may have been TechFest first of all, but ASFest for me, when I think of you, I think of ASFest for some reason.
Oh, okay.
And then I think social media and things like that kind of blur all these lines and time disappears.
Techabilitation. Did you guys play one of those shows at all that Simon used to put on? And then obviously UK Tech Fest itself, which is a shame that it's kind of drawn to a close.
Well, these things evolve. These things evolve, and we've got Radar Fest now, and that's developed and evolved in different ways. And I don't know, the whole scene. I've got a friend called Ian Rocket, amazing guitar, multi-musician. He's from Shattered Skies, who's another band around at that time. And it's weird because we shared a lot of the same stages at these tech fests and things, and now we play in a Queen tribute band together.
Oh, no way.
And,
yeah, I've seen that you were playing in that band, but I didn't realise he was in it with you.
Yeah, well, he's great because he can play drums, bass, guitar, so he can dep on any instrument.
Perfect.
He's one of them.
And he's great. But it's one of these it's a small world, and we talk about the tech fest scene, and it's amazing that we all kind of got together on that progressive metal thing, and then we've all gone out and we've spread our wings, so to speak, in terms of genres and what we do. And it's really nice. It's just great. It's and I think people who are in that tech scene, you had people who are very dedicated to writing a very particular style of music, and it is a niche, right? So there's people who have done beautiful things with it. I was listening, my friend, I was filming today at Lick Library, and the guy who does a lot of the camera work, James Masterton, he's a big fan of Jacob Zatecki, and I remember Jacob, I'm probably mispronouncing his name, but he's an incredible guitarist from Poland. And, originally he was doing very gent-based stuff, and now his playing, I don't know anybody else who sounds like it. He's just evolved. And there's so many examples of that coming out of that whole tech gent scene. And it's great to see.
Yeah, I listened to he put out a live album, didn't he? He played all his like electronic kind of stuff, and then all this weird, I can't describe his playing. Did you see Pliny at TechFest that time with us when he first came over?
I can't remember what year. What was it?
20.
Was it Leprous year?
Yeah.
I would have done the
Yeah, so we stood at the front watching Pliny. So Jakob, he was almost like the session guitarist for him, wasn't he? And I remember Pliny talking about him saying that he learnt the songs on a 7-string tuned half step down, which was completely different to what Pliny was playing, and just like rocked up and played. I mean, he's amazing player. But it's like Owain?
Owain, who works with Jack Gardner,
Yeah, another scary player. There's so many. So many. Have you got anything coming up in the future, my friend?
So there's several things in the back. I mean, this is one of the things, is if you're a professional musician, there's different aspects to it. I'm head of guitar, apparently, at the moment, Water Bear College of Music in Brighton.
Okay. Which
was started by the people who started BIM. So the teaching, Lick Library, Water Bear, I'm trying to focus on my own website at the moment because I'm spinning so many plates. I think what people don't understand about a professional musician nowadays is, you work a job as a musician. That's your skill, but you're also a video editor, a teacher, you're admin and all that stuff. But also every person you work with and work for, every project, if it's a band, if it's a teaching organization, they are an individual job. And everybody expects the fullness of that.
Yeah.
It's not one job where you turn up every day and you dedicate. And that can be quite challenging at times. So what I'm working for 2025 is to kind of pare down a little bit of stuff, focus a bit more on my website, I've got some interesting stuff going on there with tuition. And alongside that, I'm going to use a lot of music to kind of emphasize that, because I want to get back to being a bit more creative. Mask of Judas, I'm writing music. People always keep on asking, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Because Mesmerist came out a little while ago, and Joe is very keen to do stuff, and I'm very keen. I'm feeling inspired. I've actually had a bit of distance from it, and to come back to it in different ears and have matured. Definitely going to approach things differently. So I'm excited about that. Maybe just releasing some music, a single maybe or two. We'll see where it goes. So that's that. And I'm also working on some tracks with some other guitar players, just fun stuff. And Lick Library's always moving on. I'm doing a lot. They've got me monthly in there. I'm doing courses. I'm learning whole albums, teaching them, performing them, and all that stuff. So that's kind of where it's going at the moment, really, and see where it goes. I'm just enjoying the flow, really. I find the whole social media thing very, very difficult to keep on top of. I do post things, and Lick Library keep me quite, I make a lot of social media stuff for them, and they share the posts and stuff, and that's quite nice. But I find it hard to be like, new video every Tuesday and all that stuff. It's kind of on top of everything else. So maybe 2025 will be different. I don't know.
Right. I don't know if you're familiar with the format, but what we're going to do first off, Sam, is discuss your role in this dream band, because you have to be in this dream band, my friend. That
was the hardest part. I did it backwards. I started with who I think my dream band was, and then I was like, oh, wait a second. I'll be the guy at the side of the stage, sort of handing out waters and stuff. I don't know. I think my role is going to be on guitar in some capacity, whichever, filling in the gaps.
Awesome. From what I've heard of your guitar playing, you definitely need to be in that band.
100% needs to be in that band.
Well, we'll see. It's a bit of a weird band, though.
Okay.
So we'll see.
Okay. Well, you're going to be the guitarist. Have you got a particular instrument that you would use? Is there a guitar from your arsenal that you would use, or is there a dream guitar that you've always thought, ooh, quite fancy one of those?
Yeah, I'm a Strat person. Person through and through. I've got a telly as well. I love tellies, but they're good. They're just simple piece of wood pickup. I am a bit of I've got like an old school attitude to guitars. Not that I've got any kind of dogma to, preach, but like I like classic guitar with a bit of modern features, like, better, a good radius and stuff. But I've got a Strat. I've got it here, actually. It's a surf green Strat by Eternal Guitars, who are in Chichester. And it's just a Strat. It's like a 60s Strat. And it's got his hand-wound pickups, low output. When I started guitar, I was into Hank Marvin and Buddy Holly, 6 years old. And I just remember seeing Hank Marvin with his cherry red Strat, and I just used to pine over that over and over. My dad had all the vinyls and stuff, so I'd look at the picture and be like, well, and I'd see them in shops, and I'd be like, wow.
Yeah.
And I've always liked that sound. It's some of my favourite players are players like Nick Johnston and Guthrie. Who doesn't like Guthrie? But very like glassy sounding, you know, that kind of detail.
You don't like the look of a Strat, but it turns out you love the tone of a Strat.
I listened to a couple of Nick Johnston's albums this year, and you recommended them, and I fell in love with them instantly.
Yeah. I love pointing out that it's a Strat on the recording, because it's like, oh.
I just don't like the look of them personally. I prefer a Telecaster.
You prefer a Telecaster?
I prefer a Telecaster, but the sound of a Strat.
I know what you mean, though.
Yeah.
I've always felt like that. I've been wanting a Les Paul, for example, because I love the sound of Les Pauls. Nice and easy to play as well, because they're a bit shorter and the action's nice and low. And the sustain is just like, wow. But I've been in lots of rock bands doing like stuff, and I want to look a bit more badass. I don't think a Strat always looks badass and rock. Telly gets close, but like a Les Paul or something modern looks a bit more badass. PRS.
Yeah.
But no Strat for me. I understand. I mean, I'm a 70-year-old man in a 36-year-old's body, so there we are.
I love Strats as well. I mean, Eric Johnson's one of my favourite players of all time.
The sound of them is probably the best sound you can get out of a guitar.
Yeah.
Especially for lead work.
Yeah. I think it's because it hasn't got all that like low mid information that gets a little bit muddy sometimes. I mean, humbuckers are great. They're nice and like throaty and big sounding, but as soon as you drop them in a mix, more often than not, you have to kind of cut those frequencies out anyway, depending on how dense the mix is, don't you?
Yeah. I think without being like annoying, I think as you know this better than I do, but like, all different guitars have different purposes. I used to think I have one guitar for life, and I'm not going to I might use a Strat and a Mask of Judas recording in the future for an overdub, but I'm going to be playing the 8 string of humbuckers on the gig. So so there's tools for different situations, and I quite like that. Not kind of clinging on to any particular identity as a player, but knowing what works personally as well. It's a balance.
That's a good approach.
It's for the song, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's for the song.
If you start recording something, you're like, oh, this isn't working, this isn't sitting very well, don't try and force it. Try something else that might work.
But I think that's the whole point of like pedals and amps and things. I mean, doing some of these reviews for different companies and things, they hand you something, say, do a video of this, and it just brings something else out, because the gear and it's a relationship. I used to like try and play like everything on one guitar just to prove that I could play, when I was like a teenager, like I can play all my Paul Gilbert licks on this old acoustic.
Yeah.
But that acoustic is designed, you're denying the acousticness and you're denying yourself of the potential to find out what's new.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah.
So that everything is a relationship, and it can lead to completely different things. Like this weird band that I've come up with, it might lead to it could be, or it has the potential to be the best or the worst thing ever.
I'm looking forward to this, mate. We have got a couple of rules, though.
Time for the rules, baby.
So the first rule is, Sam, that you can't have any current or past band members in this dream band of yours. Is that okay?
I couldn't afford these. Yeah, that's okay.
And then you can't choose more than one member from the same band. So you can't choose all of Dream Theater, for instance.
Indeed.
As an example.
Toto. A whole of Toto.
Oh, yeah, done. Dream band.
To be fair, that'll be a good lineup.
There's a band I've got to go and see.
I know, I've never seen Toto.
It's just, they're so good. So good.
I've watched them on YouTube loads, though.
Yeah. It's crazy how good they are.
I get recommended Toto often.
Do you?
Toto Live very often, yeah. And I can never say no. Okay, we're on to your first dream band member, your dream drummer. Who are you picking?
I'm choosing Lewis Cole, and Lewis Cole is the drummer of a band called Knower, Knower.
Okay.
And he is actually, he writes albums and stuff, solo albums. If you've seen Clowncore, the two guys in a Portaloo on YouTube.
Yes, I've seen that.
He's the drummer.
Oh, no way.
And he's got Sam Gendel on sax. But Lewis Cole writes amazing. It's like almost, he sings like the Beach Boys, but he plays this crazy drum. And his drum sound, he mics up his drum kit. He said his first album was mic'd up with a laptop microphone.
Oh, God.
Sorry. And he gets this really percussive sound. And he's just funky, really funky, like just incredible. And he writes, I cannot explain Lewis Cole, but those who are listening, if you're listening, you know what I mean, right? Lewis Cole. He's just funky. He's not a rock drummer. I think his whole thing is like fusion and classical, but he's got like a modern energy, and he listens to Meshuggah and stuff. So like the Clowncore stuff, if you've heard that, you can hear that intensity and that kind of really high, like lo-fi sound to his drum sound. You can tell it's Lewis Cole because he's got a sound.
Nice.
And as a guitarist who's been shamefully obsessed with guitar playing, to recognise that sort of thing, I'm going to give myself a pat on the back. I've noticed a drum sound. So
yeah, fair play, mate. Fair play. I'll send you some links.
I need to listen.
It's mad, absolutely mad.
I'll enjoy it then, probably.
I didn't expect this choice, mate, at all. Have you got any standout tracks that you'd recommend?
Oh my goodness, you put me on the spot.
Oh, sorry, dude.
The one everyone watches is Knower Overtime Live, and they're playing in like a hallway, and it's all shot on iPhones with crazy editing, and they're all in the kitchen. He's got videos of him with like a live orchestra in his kitchen, and it goes down to it's crazy stuff.
Wow.
And the whole band, actually, there's a bass player in there called Sam Wilkes, who I was going to choose because he's also really cool, but they're in the same band.
Sorry, dude.
Yeah, Overtime Live. That's probably a good way. And then check out his solo album.
Cool. Do you have any honourable mentions for the drumming position? Any close seconds?
Well, Dave Weckl. I love all the kind of fusion stuff. Tony Williams. You got Dennis Chambers, Beccaro. You've got Thomas Harkey, of course, Matt Halpern, and I've got friends as well. I've got a friend. I got my mate, obviously Joff in my band is just. I don't know anybody else that sounds like him. He's insane. If you listen to the album, all those fills and stuff, that's him. There's no programming going on. He's meticulous, and I don't even know really where his influences come from. I'm honoured to play in a band with Joff. I've got another friend who I play with who's in a band called Kosheen, who were like a drum and bass band. His name's Mitch Glover. And I did a tour with him in Australia last year, and they play drum and bass stuff, and he does it all doubled. But he doesn't have a click track. He just has the original track, and he hits play, and then he's just in. And he's on, and he is, to me, he's been a bit of a Zen master because he's taught me a lot about how to be on tour how to stay in a car with somebody for many hours.
Yeah, very important.
Off the top of my head, I'm probably missing out on lots of people. I've got a friend called Rich Carter, who's an amazing fusion drummer. Dave Gaywood, who I play a lot with. They're all like fusion influenced players who are just like really responsive and also really musical and powerful as well.
Wicked.
Amazing.
Well, it's nice to have some shout-outs for some talented musicians as well.
Local people.
Brilliant.
Local legends.
Excellent. Well, we'll have a good listen to Lewis Cole. I'll introduce him to Clowncore.
Yes.
And we'll check out Noah.
Decent. Next one, Danny.
Are you having another guitar player in the band?
Yes, I've got two guitar. The slots I was given were rhythm guitar and lead guitar.
Okay.
So for rhythm guitar, it's difficult because a lot of the players I love are like multifaceted. They're not just lead players or just rhythm players. And it feels like a bit sacrilegious to say this, but for rhythm guitar, I'm going to go with Steve Lukather.
Toto.
Amazing. The idea of having a rhythm and a lead guitar, it's not like completely set in stone. It can be guitar 1, guitar 2.
Okay.
It's just it was an example, basically.
Aha. Okay, well, in that case, guitarists, 2 guitar slots.
But great choice.
Steve Lukather.
Have you seen Toto?
Never.
Oh, what a shame.
I know.
Neither have I. Oh, they're still going?
You sound so disappointed.
Yeah, favourite. I mean, I love all the classics, right? But I love his playing on Michael Jackson's albums, and I love his playing on... The famous one is... I always go to Michael McDonald's... I keep forgetting where he's played guitar on that. So it's a mix between the guitar parts on that and also Human Nature, which I think a lot of guitarists would say, you know, he's done a good... Oh, no, Georgie Porgy, actually. There's some lovely stuff on that as well by Toto. Because the chord is a bit jazz fusion, it's a bit Steely Dan. And then it gets, you know, and he's got a nice, very simple, almost Neil Schon style solo where it's just like melodic.
He plays a Strat as well, doesn't he? Is he a Strat man?
He's a Music Man guy.
He's a Music Man guy, is he?
But it is like a Strat shape, really, isn't it?
Stratish.
Yeah, he's got 2 single coils, hasn't he? He's got is it humbucker single?
I think he's got like every combination in his signature now. You can choose. You can choose whatever you like. He's got one with a Floyd and all sorts. I mean, he can make anything sound good, can't he? It doesn't matter what he plays through, really.
So good. Do you have any honourable mentions for your first guitarist?
Well, I was going to have Alan Holdsworth on rhythm guitar because he replaced this because there was no option for a synth player. And Holdsworth's quarter work, like, it makes me have like breakdowns. It's just so, I mean, sometimes it's like a bit too much and I'm not really into all the weird syntax stuff personally. For some it works, but he was he was exploring, and the way he approached chords and stuff been hugely influential on me. And I'd love to have his just the swells and the cleans. Another honourable mention is obviously Alan Murphy, who was a session guitarist from the UK, and he played with Kate Bush and Level 42, and he died in the 90s, unfortunately. And he's an underrated UK guitar session hero. He was like the Lukather of the UK, but he had the Holdsworth thing. If you listen to Go West, that 80s band,
really?
and you hear all those guitar swells, that's him. He had the Holdsworth clean sound, but in a pop context, which was really cool. I'm, Dan Huff. I'm a big fan of 80s legends.
Dan Huff.
Yeah, you've done it. I watched the video on him the other day, didn't I? Is that the one I watched?
He's awesome. Yeah. He's awesome, Dan Huff is.
Sam, it's your time for your dream bass player.
Who are you picking?
Well, it's difficult because I love bass.
Good.
But I'm also at the same time a little bit naive to bass. But the importance of bass is phenomenal. And, lots of names came. I'm into gospel bass players. I'm into, is it Sheree Reed? But my choice, because I thought in a band you need someone who's grounded, funky, cool, and that was Victor Wooten.
Oh, yes. Oof. Great choice.
He would be adaptable, right? To most, I reckon he would give metal a go. I think he'd give everything a go, but he'd have all that beautiful harmony and that feeling. And he's got that kind of stringy thing. And I know that if you asked him to just play a groove, he'd just play a groove. And if you wanted him to shred, he would shred. And then at the same time, backstage, in between gigs, he's going to be like the Zen master in the middle of it all, just bringing everyone to a more kind of calmer, more connected place.
Cool guy.
I love his music lesson book. I've learned so much from his Groove Workshop course that he did, and hearing him talk about music. Got that ability to kind of share the ineffable aspects of music, which are things that you can easily sound pretentious talking about, because music really is an experience. There's all the technique and that stuff, but there's all the feeling-y things, and he's really good at kind of putting that into words. So there's so many aspects of him. He's known as the kind of virtuoso bass player. He does all these beautiful kind of finger solo arrangements. On YouTube, everyone can find their own thing. But Victor Rudin just is a cool dude to work with.
Absolutely. He's got such amazing groove. There's a video of him on YouTube, and he's talking about the importance of groove over the note selection. And he plays all the wrong notes, but the groove's there still, and it still sounds amazing.
Oh, you're going to have to show me that.
Yeah.
I'm very intrigued.
Yeah, it's such an amazing play. And he does it all with a smile on his face. He's such a kind of like chill guy.
Well, imagine him blocked in with you and Lukather.
Well, yeah. I mean, surely they've met. They must have met, surely.
Definitely.
All these musicians have these secret parties, right? And they all meet up.
I'm not invited.
Share grooves.
You're there now, aren't you? That's your hotel. That's the hotel.
We're not invited.
Yeah, where's Vic? Is he in there? Is he hiding?
He's in the cupboard.
Oh dear. Dear David Carradine.
Nothing good happens in the cupboard. What's your favourite piece of work?
Well, this is what I was saying. I'm not really like, he's got a lot of solo material. And again, it's like a Lukather type person where he does a lot of stuff. He's done those amazing solo bass versions of Beatles songs and things. And
nice.
I think just watching any of that stuff is
anything.
Just search Victor Rudin. If anything, if you're a musician listening and you're interested, that as a guitarist, watching Victor Rudin's Groove Workshop or listening to the audiobook of the music lesson.
Oh, okay.
They're really valuable things. That I'd suggest. Victor actually narrates his own book, and he fills it with things. It's a story about a musician who has lost the groove, so to speak. He's just a professional musician. He's learning sets. He's bored. He's stressed. It's a job, and it's a story about how he meets this like weird special musician guy who appears out of nowhere like a ghost. It's kind of fascinating. It's like a proper mystical story, but each time he's like telling him, like, listen to this record, jam to the record, or leave space, or not overthinking your warm-ups and things like that, getting into the thing and connecting on stage rather than getting too like premeditated about things, and learning to improvise and things like that. He's talking about those aspects, the more communicative aspects and feeling aspects of music in that book. So some may say it's a bit woo-woo, but it's not, because we're musicians and we are literally working with that ineffable thing, which is sound and feeling.
Yes.
So we have to use weird words sometimes.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. Can I just give a shout out to your bass player in Mask of Judas? His tone on that record
George.
It's incredible. The tone is amazing.
It's incredible. Yeah. No, George Bell is his name. We're not related, unfortunately, although on Facebook we are siblings.
Of course.
George is a Portsmouth musician. And he's got several projects on the go. King Botfly is like a stoner rock thing. And he's got another tribute band called Bloody Grungers. Oh. And they are a function band, but they do like noughties grunge, like all the stuff that probably people of our age are listening to. So at your wedding, you're not going to want someone playing Mustang Sally and Valerie. You're going to want to hear someone playing Papa Roach or System of a Down.
That's amazing.
So that's his thing, and he does that so well. But his tone on that record is, he's got a dark glass. It was when the BK7 had just come out, and he had an Ampeg. And we were working with a guy called Jack Stevens at Envy Studios back in that time, and they captured his tone. And it's something else. And George he's an amazing guitar. He's one of these. It's always bassists. I don't know if you noticed this, Danny, but bassists who can play drums, and they sort of dabble in other things, right? And they're really good bass, but they play a bit of guitar, and like. They can do it really well, and it's annoying sometimes on an ego level. But George is an amazing guitarist. So in Massacre Judas, George found George and Joe primarily, because she's just like, she has to sing the stuff, right? So she's on it. But they all have, the input is equal from everybody, and it's really cool to work with.
I really enjoyed listening to it earlier.
Yeah, I'm going to revisit the album again because it has been a little while, and I remember enjoying it thoroughly.
It's very good. Any other honourable mentions for bass?
Well, I'm a massive Paul Gilbert fan, so that with that, and Steve Vai fan, of course. I think it comes with the territory of being a rock guitar player. But I love a bit of Billy Sheehan. It's cool. I know he's like showy, and bassists say he's not really playing bass, he's just shredding. But I love that. He's got a cool. I kind of like his uniqueness because he's got a tone. He recognises Billy Sheehan, right? And at the end of the day, when we're musicians, we want to hear him.
Yeah,
I don't want to hear Billy Sheehan sound like Victor Wooten. I want to hear Billy Sheehan be. I want to smell him like in his sound. Right? You don't want to hear a clone. So,
I can smell those mints.
Yeah, pretty.
It's proper like
Great tone.
dog being sick almost. One might say.
Indeed, the best kind of bass
I
tone.
mentioned him earlier because of the Lewis Cole connection. It's Sam Wilkes. Sam Wilkes, and you'll see him playing bass on some of these videos with Lewis Cole. He wears these glasses. He's got a little P bass, blue P bass, and he is funky and he loves, and he's in it. And he sits down. I saw Noah live in Brighton. And he sat on stage. If you know the band Noah, then you kind of let them go. They're all a bit eccentric, but he just sat down and he's doing his groove. He's not stood up playing bass. Sam Wilkes, awesome bass player. Thundercat. I love a bit of Thundercat.
Oh, Thundercat, yeah.
I lived with a bass player called Marcus Porter back in Brighton, and he introduced me to Victor Wooten, and I'd hear him practicing every day. And he was one of these guys that would just, as soon as he heard something, he can play it. Family Guy theme tune, he would literally learn it a few bars after it just heard. He was so good. He's one of them, and he plays it.
He's one of them.
He does a bit of stuff with Ronnie Scott's now, and Ronnie Scott's a bit, and I haven't seen him in a long. I bumped into him at an airport once many years ago. If you're listening, I don't. He's a bass player. He's sick of guitarists. I'm not sure if he'll be listening to this Pick and Licks podcast, but you're listening. I haven't seen him in a while, and I miss you. But he's incredible, and he introduced me to all the kind of fusiony bass players, John Patitucci with Chick Corea and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Michael Manring, who has all the tuners on his bass, and he does all these beautiful harmonics and stuff. And with that, I guess there's the influence of Jaco Pastorius in there as well, big time. I'm probably missing some names, but those are some people that come off the top of my head right now.
Awesome selection as well.
Bass praise.
We sometimes get bass burns, don't we?
Some people just rip on the
bass, but
rip on the bass, don't they?
I'll rip on them.
It's so important, though. I mean, so important.
The most important.
It's the glue for the entire band.
It's the sauce that holds the dish together.
Here we go again. This is the analogy that he likes to use.
It's true.
Okay, next up, Danny, who we got?
Right, next member. We've got written down here, Dream lead guitarist. I thought that was you.
I'm not so when I said this earlier, I'm not my own dream lead guitarist at all. Let's pretend I'm not in the band temporarily. Let's say I play synth bass, or I'm programming. I'm doing something else, which, so, and it's been a mix up between probably my biggest mentor and tutor in life, which has been Paul Gilbert, because it's not even his playing necessarily. It's just his attitude, and he's got the rock thing down, right? But then I was also thinking Scott Henderson. He's like Stevie Ray Vaughan, but he's gone to India. He's meditated for 5 years and then taken acid, and he's come back. He's learned some jazz standards and all that stuff. He's got, but he's just like, he's the real deal. Like he's complete. He's music in the same way Victor Wooten is music. He's just a person that is music, right? That is Scott Henderson for me, because he in the trio stuff and Tribal Tech, you hear him. He's just really musical and so expressive, and he's got all the vocabulary, as they say in the jazz world, of blues and all that stuff. But really, I hear somebody playing melodies. I hear someone using all that stuff as a way of communicating, rather than saying, "Here's stuff I know." It's in the same way. I think these players like Lewis Cole, Victor Wooten, and Scott have this same kind of like emergent property of playing, where it's like it doesn't sound premeditated, it's real and it's moving. A similar player is Wayne Krantz, who I love, who's a great player. But I think Scott Henderson, his body of work and how he's taught as well, he's a great teacher and a funny guy. Yeah, he just, he mixes that lead thing with nice chords. His solo albums, People Mover, that album, he's got some just weird, he's got a House of the Esoteric Dance or something. He's got some weird name for it. Erotic dance, maybe I don't know, but it's something weird. But the chords and it's just like everything's moving and undulating. And he's got this tone. He plays a Strat, plays into a Marshall. It's a very simple tone. You know, he gets the mic in the right place. It sounds lovely. I'm not a preacher for valve amps and all that. I think you should just use whatever works and it's all good. But, you know, there's something to be, when I was saying about relationship of playing through something which responds in a very physical way through and through. There's something to be said for that, and I don't understand what it is. I probably sound like I'm smelling my own farts, but there is something. And I use a quad cortex most of my career. You know, I use digital a lot of the time. I love it. But if I get to play through a valve amp, I feel connected. So when Scott Henderson, he's all about that. It's real. It's a very raw, real tone. You can hear, you can smell him, as I said earlier. I'll stop talking because that was a long sentence.
I think for his drive sound, a lot of the players around that time, Michael Landau was a bit of a leader for guitar tone. This is what I've read anyway. And they all went down the Sir route at one point. So, like Scott Henderson uses Sir now, doesn't he? He's got his signature. And I think he's using Sir's version of the old Marshall. I'm not very clued up with the models of Marshall, but basically the old Plexi. So it's like Sir's version of a Plexi. But he'd like boost it with a Maxon super distortion.
Oh yeah, SD1.
SD1. His tone's unreal. It's unreal. And he does like these weird, like, how do you describe it? He like dives into notes with his tremolo arm, doesn't he? It's like a Jeff Beck kind of approach to things, but then with the outside playing. There's not many players who can do it like he can. You'll definitely like Tribal Tech. The bass player in that band is unreal. I don't know his name, but
Gary Willis.
Oh, Gary Willis. Yeah.
Gary Willis plays bass for that band, so you can imagine the guitar player who's playing with him. It's like, but there's an album by Scott Henderson with like the old. It's got like a radio on the front. I can't remember.
I know the exact one you mean, and I've forgotten it too.
That's what got me into Scott Henderson.
Oh, really? Cool.
It was like, what? Yeah. What is this guy playing? I imagine you've immersed yourself in that kind of playing as well, Sam. But probably the last couple of years, I've been studying his kind of approach at outside playing. Because he sounds the most natural to me. He sounds the most musical with it, whereas some people sound a bit forced with it. So I thought, why not try and learn from the best?
Well, this is the thing, and I am not qualified to say any of what I'm about to say, but hey, it's okay. And that is, Scott Henderson has all that jazz kind of stuff, but it doesn't feel like he's giving you a lecture, right? When he does something outside, it's because it was meant in that moment, or he wanted to go. Well, it's not. There's a lot of fusion now. I think it comes a lot with these bands who are like, you know, you get super sick musicians together and they all have studied Berkeley and they're all really amazing. And they're kind of showing what they know. And it's like vocabulary. Yeah, I got this nice tasty 2-5-1 phrase over this thing. But I don't want to hear, you can ask ChatGPT to do that stuff. Like really what you want to hear is that the absorption of that language, and to the point where you don't think about it. Like these words I'm speaking now, I find English a very challenging language anyway to speak as a dyslexic, but like it is, I'm not thinking too much about it. It's coming out. And I think for Scott and people like Guthrie and people like that, it is obviously just like it's a transmission and they're not thinking about, now I'm going to do this lick. It's an altered scale over the 5 chord. Now I'm going to do, and it's this bebop and bebop, you meant to only accent certain chromatic notes and certain beats and all this stuff. And it's like, wait a second, jazz was made for just reinterpreting pop songs of the time and expressing yourself. What's going on? Whereas it's kind of almost, I'm going to say, a dogmatic approach to style of music. So what you're saying about Scott when he plays outside, it feels like watching Waters. Sometimes it's smooth. You know, that's Scott Henderson.
Great description. Have you seen Scott Henderson?
No, another player I've not seen live. But I would say a close runner-up is, I mean, one of my favourite, the only guitarist so good, but because of how emotive his playing is, and it's Guthrie. Guthrie Govan, like when I see him live, like I see his stuff on the Stephen Wilson stuff is just, oh my God. Like it's the most emotive, the solo on Drive Home and Regret 9 and all that stuff, like it's just so human. There we are, that album, right? I used to listen to that in the car and I would cry listening to his solos, right? Not out of like, maybe I was just had some suppressed emotions. But anyway, like it was just, and I saw him recently in Brighton with a trio, Thomas Bures, the keyboard player. I've never heard of him before, but he was doing a small gig in like a jazz club, and Guthrie just got up and played. He improvised a solo. Like there's music for music because it's like all pop and it's nice and it's a nice melody. But when he was improvising in that moment, everybody was there with it at the same time, and it just hit. You know the feeling when you see that art, when you see there's those gigs you go to and it hits you. Guthrie has done that consistent. I've seen him with the Fellowship. I've seen him with the Aristocrats. When he's with the Fellowship and when he's done his random solo stuff with these random jazz trios, that's when he's moved me the most. The Aristocrats was great, amazing. They're all just going at it. And and that's great, but I just find it a bit overwhelming. But in this moment, it was also, they weren't trying to prove anything, and because of that, it all came through. So yeah, Guthrie. A moment of silence for Guthrie. He's just the man. Like he
is the man,
and he's so real. Like you'd be taught to him. He loves music. He loves guitar. Yeah. There's nothing else. This is it. You know,
just like he's like Gandalf of guitar playing.
Gandalf of guitar. Bloody hell.
We've come to the final member.
The last one.
Your dream vocalist.
So much too late, fading away.
Vocalist, right. Well, so...
Unless you're going instrumental.
Antoine Stanley. And Antoine Stanley is a vocalist who sings sometimes with Wolfpack.
Oh, okay.
My favourite track, I think a good example of him is a track called 1612 or Aunt Leslie. And he is this fantastic Black American singer, just so in control and just so expressive and eccentric as well. And I don't think there's anything he couldn't do. You know, he's got that kind of like, you know, like there's Bobby McFerrin, who's a close runner-up, right? Because Bobby McFerrin can like sing. He can sing like cello suites and stuff. Like he's got this amazing voice that can do that. Antoine's got that, but there's a soul context to it, and the band and everything, and there's a humor which Bobby has as well. I guess it's difficult. I've been asked to choose one person, so I think Antoine would be the man for him. And I've always loved soul and blues voices. You know, some of my run-ups were people like Luther Vandross, for example. And I'm a big fan of like Stevie Wonder, and somebody who worked with Stevie Wonder, who is a guitar player, Michael Sambello, who wrote Maniac, who wrote a few. He's on Continuum with Stevie Wonder. Amazing fusion guitar player, but wrote Maniac.
Oh wow!
And sung Maniac, and his voice is very similar. He's got very similar inflections to Stevie Wonder because he's worked with him as a session player for many years before. Loves Michael Sambello, but Antoine, I don't know. There's lots of video. Wolfpack do lots of these covers and things, and Antoine turns up all the time, and he's got his energy as well. I mean, the vocalist is kind of leading the band, and he's quite fun. Now, this is where things get weird because, like, the band, we've got Scott Henderson on guitar, Victor Wooten and Lewis Cole and all these people. It all gets strange, and there's so many vocalists that I enjoy. And there's vocalists who are virtuoso vocalists, and there's vocalists. I mean, I enjoy voices like Phil Collins and people who just sound like themselves as well. But people like Antoine, they've got the technique and they are themselves as well. And they've got this beautiful way of doing the thing. I'm going to pause. There's a chance for people to respond.
No, that's wicked. I mean, I'm familiar with... familiar, put my teeth back in, I'm familiar with Wolfpack, but I'm going to have to go away and listen to these tracks that you've recommended.
It's the best bit of this job, isn't it?
Yeah, love it.
Best bit is listening to all the picks.
Yes, exactly.
Right, so we've come to the end of your dream band, Sam. So we're just going to get you to summarise the choices, if that's okay.
Summarise.
So, Sam, your dream drummer is?
Lewis Cole.
Your dream guitarist number one.
Guitar
is?
one.
Lukather. Steve Lukather.
It's like James Bond.
Your bass player is?
Victor Wooten.
Your other guitarist is?
Scott Henderson,
And your vocalist.
Antoine Stanley.
And we do have to remember that you are also in this band.
I'm playing synth bass and doing some fills. I've got an arpeggiator on the synth. I can just hold a note.
And guitar. What I found about this podcast, Danny, is the more talented the player, the least they want to be in the band less and less.
I just want to be the guy
honestly.
that has somehow I get their email addresses, and for some reason I get them together I copy them all in, and I say just start a band, and I'll leave it. And then 2 years later, there's an album and there's tour, and it's amazing. And somehow the music saves the world, and
Founded by Sunbell.
Exactly. Finder's fee.
Fades out like Homer Simpson. I mean, there's a lot of that going on.
Backwards.
Into the bush. All right, we're going to put you on the spot here, mate.
Maybe the hardest job.
Yeah, everybody struggles with this. Apart from one person, he was very prepared.
Indeed.
I was unsettled how quickly he answered it. Name the band.
Name your dream band, baby.
oh no.
It's a hard job, isn't it?
God.
Thing is, right, I don't know if you have this when you're writing songs and you get a demo going on Cubase or Logic or whatever your chosen DAW is. You go, I like this idea, save. But I know people who just leave it as like untitled 506 or something. But, I always come up with titles like, I don't know, sorrowful macaroni cheese burger or something, and then it's just, and then Joe will get to write the vocals on it. She's like, I'm going to call this something a bit more, she has a meaning for it. So it's difficult for me to come up with meaningful.
It doesn't always have to be meaningful.
Yeah, it doesn't always have to be. Emperor Chung, for example.
Exactly, Emperor Chung.
Emperor Chunk. I mean, that's
Chung. That was one of our previous bands. So it doesn't have to be meaningful.
But there's it, right? It's either pretentious or it's.
Yeah.
But Emperor Chung's good. I like that. I'm going to call it. I mean, this is going to sound pretentious, but it's coming to my head. It's going to be called. They're going to be called the Deathless because I like the sound of that word.
The Deathless.
It sounds heavy, but then they'd hear it and it'd be like a weird soul fusion. I don't know. I think that's
like
more.
that.
That's more of a tap out than anything meaningful there.
I like that. We can get some cool T-shirt designs on that.
Exactly. Get cracking with that one.
We'll get AI on that.
Do you think this band will get on, Sam? Do you think everyone's going to get on?
Oh, yeah.
They're cool dudes, aren't they?
Surely.
You got cool dudes.
Yeah, they're all virtuosos. So,
like I said, they've all got this kind of like extreme. I don't know about Antoine Stanley that well. I enjoy his vocals. I don't know much about him because I'm Britain's philosophy, knowing Scott Henderson's philosophy, Lewis Cole through his music and hearing him talk about music. Lukather, of course. I think Lukather might be a little bit of a. He might get a bit upset sometimes if it's not the right thing. I think he seems like a really chill guy, but I think because he's got some career behind that, he might want a different dressing room to the rest. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
However,
maybe
that doesn't mean he's not going to come in and have a beer. And I think Victor Wooten, he's going to be like, "Oi, let's all just take a breath. Remember why we're here." And they'll be like, "Oh yeah." And oh yeah, I like your playing. I like you. They'll all love each other's playing. Hopefully, I'm sure they would. Scott Henderson, he's quite outspoken on social media about his political opinions. But I think there's a thing. Everyone's going to enjoy each other's peaks and troughs, right? And that's what makes something. I was doing a lesson today, and contrast is perhaps one of the most important aspects of phrasing and music. If you don't have pauses or you don't have different dynamics going on, everything just becomes, like I was saying about music, because all the time as a career you become noseblind to it. And the same with music and musicians. You have a bit of contrast, actually there's something quite interesting that can happen. And like I said, it could be the best thing ever or the worst thing ever. But then some people will think equally it's the best thing ever and it's the worst thing ever. And that's good, because I'd rather that than something being bland, which there's a lot of.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree completely.
Very well put. Very true. Dude, where can the listeners
find you?
On all the socials, your website address and things like that?
Well, first of all, I'll encourage listeners to check out Mask of Judas on Spotify. If you search for Mask of Judas and you put in Mask of Judas, The Mesmerist, the album, you'll hear 6 years of my writing alongside everyone else in the band who put so much in. Hopefully, in the future, there might be something else. In terms of myself, you're going to find me on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook and stuff at Sam Bell Guitar. If you're looking at learning, my website next year is somewhere to go. I've got a mailing list if you sign up for that. just go on the website and you'll be hit with a pop-up like most websites nowadays. I barely mail people, but if you get on the list, you'll be notified when I'm doing something interesting, and that helps me because it keeps me away from the algorithms who are trying to monetize everything and choke the reach. So being on my mailing list is actually it's helping me buy myself a coffee or something, and you'll get a tab for my melodic minor workouts, which I've put together, and it's free. And when I have something, I'll send it you. If you're listening now and you're interested, I've got loads of stuff at Lick Library, tons of courses from theory, technique to song lessons. You know, I did some Whitesnake stuff with Vi. I've done David Lee Roth, Van Halen, Mr. Big, Fleetwood Mac, Nirvana, all that stuff. And Rich Shaw is there as well, fellow friend of the podcast. So you can check out Rich Shaw. And there's other amazing tutors like Rick Graham, Tom Quayle. You know, I'm there, but forget about me. Go on Lick Library. It's great. If you search for me, you'll find all the other stuff.
Cool, dude.
If you're interested. If you're not, though, those artists I've suggested are a killer, and I think every musician can appreciate them at some level.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Indeed. Well, it's time to say goodbye, Sam.
It is. We hate this
Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. We've really appreciated your insights and some amazing choices.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. This is like
We've got so much to listen to after this.
proper.
Can't wait.
I can tell this is. I'm imagining that dream band of doom. Dude, it's amazing to catch up as well because it's been way too long as well.
Has been. Yeah, man. Well, thank you so much for asking me to be on. It's a pleasure, and it's lovely to see, guitar podcasts and stuff. And I like the way you formatted this because I think it's so easy as a guitar-centric. I don't even think it's even guitar-centric what you're approaching here. You're approaching music. That's how I feel anyway. Because when you ask for a band, you're asking for the artist's perspective. Because really, you're asking my perspective on certain instrument roles in music, and it's a whole connection. And it's difficult because obviously most musicians appreciate every instrument, every discipline. But I think what you're doing here is really cool, and I'm excited to see where it goes because I think there's a lot of interesting perspectives that potentially can come out of this kind of format. And I'd love to catch up again soon. I'd like to meet you down in the future. And Danny, I'd love to. We should have a jam at some point because I don't think we've ever actually sat down with some guitars and a coffee. We should do that.
That'd be amazing.
We should all do. Yes. We should all three of us should do that. Why am I saying? All three of us should get together, have a jam, or just sit and have a coffee. I don't know, but have a guitar somewhere.
Awesome. That'd be amazing, dude. Right, dude. Before it cuts us off.
Thank you.
We're gonna have to go photo.
Oh, a photo.
Quick smile for the camera. Smile for the camera.
Oh, have I pressed the button?
Oh, dude,
it's done it.
Oh my god, it cut off at the last second. Oh, dude, that was so close. Dude.
Well, hey!
Here he is. Gotta love that greeting every time.
You hate it.
I hate it. I want to punch you every time. I know it's coming and I want to punch you. But instead of punching you, what we're going to do instead is evaluate Soundbell's band.
What a class guest.
I loved him.
Great guy, amazing guitar player. And I meant what I said about, using the tutorial guitar stuff that he put on YouTube years ago when he first started doing it. He was very useful for figuring out some of those advanced techniques and stuff. He's very open and he's very generous with his knowledge sharing with other
That's a
guitar
great way
players.
of putting it.
Yeah.
It came across that way as well.
Yeah.
I love his band, Mask of Judas.
Yeah, killer band. We played with them a few times in Parallax.
Did you?
In fact, they played when we played in Scotland.
Oh,
so your only gig with Parallax.
Oh, we played with them
yes,
then. Did we see them then?
Yeah, because I would have made you go and watch them.
All these bands I've played with, and I've got no idea.
Yes, we went up there with Emperor Chung, and then we played
with the
Parallax.
Did we play the Parallax the same day as Chung?
Yeah, it was like we had to get off stage and then walk to the next little stage.
Did we?
Yeah.
Was we doing Parallax at the same time as Emperor Chung?
I think we did.
I think
it was on the same day.
I thought it was a year after.
No, it's the same gig.
Was it the same gig?
It was the same gig, yeah.
Oh my God. I can't.
Yeah,
I can't remember. Oh yeah, because yes.
It's
of course
two different guitars and basses because we were in different tunings, which we didn't usually do.
I had the Thumb and I had the Ibanez, didn't I? I had no idea.
You need to find one of those Ibanezes.
I think you sent me one. No, it's a different one, wasn't it? But similar 80. It's the Ibanez ATK, which I
shout out to our listeners. If you know where one of these basses is readily available in good condition,
it's the Ibanez ATK 800 in the darker wood,
dark walnut finish. Walnut.
It's got to have the maple neck.
It's got to have maple neck
for the twang.
Yes, it's got a nice upper mid-range
It's
twank.
got that clonk, that clank. Anyway, enough about that. Let's evaluate Sam Bell's choices.
Right, let's
Did he
start
pick
with
a great dream band or not?
It was a killer dream band. I mean, we've gone through member by member
We have,
and
yeah.
analysed. It's just like, ugh.
We could listen to all of these members on their own for a long time.
Absolutely top notch. Lewis Cole, drummer from
This
Clowncore.
was a mad one.
Absolutely mad.
I
I mean,
mean, great video. What's the song called? Where they're in the toilet.
it's called Hell.
Oh, Hell by Clowncore.
Did you check it out?
Two clowns. I think there's 2 keyboards and a drum kit
Yep. And a sax. There's a saxophone.
in a festival toilet.
It's unbelievable. His groove is top notch.
And his kit is tiny.
Yeah.
It's like snare, bass, hi-hat, I think.
Oh, ridiculous. And then if you listen to his other band, Noah, Knower, there's a track called Overtime, and it's live in their kind of
How is that
student dorm or
live,
something.
dude? That's crazy.
It's ridiculous. And it looks like the guy from Dare the Jackal.
Oh, Eddie Redmayne.
Yeah.
That was a great series, by the way. I think we've mentioned it. But
Absolutely amazing.
We loved it, didn't we?
Can't wait for the second season. Yeah, it's kind of like got a bit of a jazz fusion kind of vibe, but he's class. He's proper pocket playing, but he's got the chops to back it up.
It reminds me of, you won't know this because you don't play football games, Danny.
Yep.
It reminds me of the menu music for Pro Evolution Soccer
Wow.
back in the day.
You know what?
The jazz fusion type.
I think I've played that before. I think I know what you're talking about.
It's pretending, guys. You don't really know. But honestly, amazing choice. And someone that's outside of my normal realm, so it's great to kind of hear about these people that I don't know about.
Yeah, it wasn't. What's his name from Dream Theater?
Yeah,
Anyway,
Matt Portnoy.
Oh god, we mentioned his name.
Or Lars Ulrich.
So we know that Sam Bell is kind of providing extra bit guitar and all sorts of extra bits.
Yeah.
He didn't want to commit to playing guitar.
He is playing guitar.
Which is
though,
he's
isn't
playing
he?
guitar.
We're forcing him
Sam,
into
you're
that.
playing guitar. So he's picked Steve Lukather.
Oh my God.
As kind of
I forget all the hits that Toto have had.
yeah, absolutely ridiculous. I mean, we just had to listen to Georgie Porgy, and it's just. I mean, Steve Lukather. Everybody kind of thinks of his like lead playing, which is out of this world. He was one of the top 3, I'd say. Mike Landau, Steve Lukather, Dan Huff. All 3 of them in the 80s.
You was looking at me then, Danny, like I would know those 3 then.
Dude, they were around the time of like Michael Bolton era of,
I've watched that Dan Huff video actually you sent me. So yeah.
They're amazing.
Yeah, Hitmakers galore.
Absolutely. But Steve Lukather, he played most of the rhythm parts on most tracks in the 80s, and then just an amazing player. Great vocal. I mean, Toto.
I know.
Too many tracks to list.
Too many
there?
tracks. We love them.
But he's got a signature clean sound with that kind of compression, a bit of chorus, bit of ambience and stuff, and then his lead tones, that kind of very silky,
Yeah.
kind of, I don't know, it's like drenched in delays and stuff, but there's so much clarity there. It's him playing. Top notch player. Great choice.
Great choice. Thanks, Sam.
On bass. Come on, let's talk about him.
Victor Wooten. Was you aware of Victor Wooten before?
I was aware of him, but I actually got him mixed up. I thought of someone else.
Oh,
But
okay.
I have seen him before, and I was like, yeah, I know what you mean now.
There's loads of little YouTube shorts with him, and he's doing these little bass lesson things about groove and timing, and just how you can change the way of a beat just by changing the bass line. I think we watched one of them, don't we?
That video was amazing.
Yeah, and he's just got that lovely, like, it's a groove and soulful player, but his tone is, you can hear all the little cracks and stuff in his tone.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just gorgeous.
Yeah, that's what I've just written, because we discussed that, didn't you? You pointed out, look, listen. In fact, you don't have to listen that hard to be able to pick out his parts, but we listened to a track called Direct Flight by Corey Wong.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like that. What is he doing with his thumb? He's got like this.
It's like a slap technique, but it's like double thumbing, so it's going down and up. So
It's brilliant.
For every like note, there's 2 notes. It's doing down and up on every single kind of like, and it adds so much texture and groove to the songs. Legendary bass.
He's going to lock in amazing with Lewis Cole.
Oh my God, them 2.
And Lukather on top with them, like clean passages.
That's ridiculous, isn't
Top
it?
notch. He plays Federa basses.
Federa basses,
Yeah.
and I've not listened to it yet, but I have got the Sam recommended an audio book.
Yes, I've got that.
Have you
to
got that on
listen
there?
to,
What's it called? I've got it on my.
It's the Groove Workshop.
No, is it? I've got a different one in my library.
He's probably done a few. It's also worth mentioning George Bell, who plays bass in Mask of Judas. So we had a listen The Conspirator. Great track.
Yes. Yeah.
Killer video. Not much video time for the bass player, so it was a bit of a bass burn for us.
Definitely a bass burn. Poor bass player. Yet again. We've got a few clips of his headstock now and again. That was about it.
Yeah, a great heavy band with a catchy chorus and cool image and
great bass tone and great bass lines as well, which not always the case with those kind of bands.
Great band name as well.
It is indeed.
Right, lead guitar, Scott Henderson.
Oh, yes. Very different from Steve Lukather.
Very, very, very different. There's a type of, I think we talked about this in the episode, but there's an approach to lead playing called outside playing, which is very difficult to make it sound natural. And we just listened to some tracks, didn't we? Which there was Calhorn and Church of Exotic Dance, both from the album Vibe Station. But the one was live, one was the album. But you were like pointing out, it sounds a bit like a keyboard player in a way, and
there's some of the notes there, and his articulation in his playing, with the whammy bar and all that, just kind of like takes it out of that guitar realm a little bit for me.
Yeah,
and some of the effects he used, it was a little bit otherworldly at times.
If you want to get into that kind of bending melody, stepping outside of what you were expecting to hear, Scott Henderson is one of the best at it.
Is that what it's called? The outside playing?
It's outside playing, yeah. It's kind of he's using a lot of like altered scales and things. So scales that just they don't normally sit in popular music at all, because it makes the listener go, "Oh," but it creates tension.
Wrong
it's
notes.
Brilliant.
Are we talking about wrong notes here? Is that what we're talking about, Danny?
To someone who listens to Oasis or something, then yes, that's the wrong note.
No offence to our Oasis fans. Actually, yeah.
Dude, I said it before. There's a chromatic scale. So there's no such thing as a wrong note.
There you go.
It's all about placement, timing, and resolve. Anyway.
Anything else it's all about?
No, I cannot speak highly enough of Scott Henderson. I mean, he's a signature Sir player as well. Great sounding guitar.
There we go. I've never heard of him before, but it was quite fun watching him, to be honest.
Yes.
Very different. Not what I was expecting, to be honest.
And finish up the band, Antoine Stanley.
What a voice.
So soulful, smooth.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Did you think he looked effortless while he was singing?
Yeah, he wasn't even trying, was he?
Unlike myself when I'm...
we've already discussed your Danaconda face.
Yeah, when I'm morphing into Jim Carrey as Ace Ventura.
Yeah, there's none of that with him. He was soulful, effortless, and perfect. Perfect is probably the word.
It is perfect.
It's perfect.
It's perfect vocal. Absolutely class. 1612 by Wolfpack was the track we listened to. And
it was glorious.
It was a great recommendation by Sam.
In fact, the whole track was brilliant. All the music, the whole big band behind him.
Flawless.
Absolutely flawless.
Absolutely stellar. Brilliant lineup. Dude, would you go and see this band?
Absolutely, yes. This is one of my favourites so far, I think. Lots of people that I've not heard of before, but I'm excited. I'm excited for this band.
Dude, I'm there with you. I'd go and see this band too.
Good, I'd allow you. I'd buy you a ticket.
Yeah.
I'd get you a ticket.
Just buy me one when you're ready to order a ticket.
Can you imagine, though? Like, you could do little solo sections of all these guys and it would be a whole gig on its own, almost.
Yeah. Like take it in turns to just hit the stage. Dude, would you buy a t-shirt?
Daddy, would you buy a t-shirt? Daddy, would you buy a t-shirt? Daddy, would you buy a t-shirt? Put your money where your mouth is. Daddy, would you buy a t-shirt? Daddy, would you buy a t-shirt? Daddy, would you buy a t-shirt? Put your money where your mouth is.
Oh, it all depends, Danny, on what the band name is.
The band name is The Deathless.
The Deathless?
Yeah.
Well, there are some older guys in there, isn't there? I'd buy a t-shirt.
Yeah, we're going to generate that t-shirt.
There's a lot of
AI in a moment.
Different artistic things going off, so it's going to be like a weird. I think it's going to be a weird t-shirt.
It's going to be great.
There's a lot of there's a lot of little different angles. Yeah, I'm all over that. I will buy a t-shirt. Will you buy a t-shirt? You've got all the t-shirts in the world.
Yeah, so long as all members are like piling out of the Clown Core Portaloo. That has to be on it.
I'm not. Don't be disrespectful, but I'm not sure they'll all fit. That might be more interesting, actually.
It's a big Portaloo. It's a big Portaloo.
Anyway, it's a TARDIS. It's TARDIS-like in nature.
We're chatting shit. Well, a massive thanks, Sam, for coming on the show. It was an absolute pleasure. What a talented guitarist and a great guy. Be sure to check out Sam on all social media platforms by searching Sam Bell Guitar. And on his Linktree, actually, on Instagram, is very useful because it's got links to all of his merch, his lessons, and his signature guitar pick with Hawk Picks. Check out his new website, Sam Bell Guitar. Thank you to our listeners. Thanks for sticking with us. Give us a follow, give us a like, give us a share.
Definitely. It's really important you do that because there could be someone out there that needs this in their life. And if you don't share it, How will they know?
Are you lacking light entertainment in your life?
Are you feeling a little bit sad at the minute?
This got a bit serious, didn't it?
Click on Pick and Licks now to be very lightly entertained.
We promise no more.
No more, no less than light entertainment. Right, dude.
Right.
We can babble on forever.
Yeah.
Say bye-bye.
Until next time. Goodbye for now.
Goodbye.
We're so sorry to see you go, but thanks for tuning into the show.